Welcome to Soto Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. We're jumping right in. I'm showing you my pipe and drape setup here. I got these crossbars that are shorter than usual because of the design we're making today. So I got the inspo picture from the organizer for the bridal show, and we're creating this at the entrance. So if you see the 3 doors back there, that's where all the families will be coming in. The brides to be will be coming in for the bridal show. So instead of balloons, in the past we always design balloons. Instead of balloons, she wanted me to do drapes. I did not know the width of this space, so I designed what I could, and not quite the width we want, but it turned out just fine. We're using Ivory drapes here, and like I said, the design is a little different than what we normally do for drapes, and you see that here. But we're putting these Ivory drapes on. The idea here is to create a single drape design, but then we need some extra fabric in the middle that we can double. So you see me here putting my second crossbar on. Now we're going to put all our fabric on as one layer. Then we're going to put an extra layer on the back end, but knowing that when we raise our full backdrop, we're going to raise it up to where the concrete is at the top right below that exit sign, and that will hide our crossbar on the back end. Front, back, not sure, but I'm designing from this side here. You'll have to let me know in the comments which side you like better, whether it's the front would be what the brides see coming in, so the back of this wall, and the back will be what I'm designing on this side. So ironically, I'm designing the opposite side, but it's just because of what the design looks like. But personally, I like the front end, which is what the brides see when they come in. But the inspo picture showed the back end, so that's why I'm designing from the back. I have 2 pieces of fabric on that shorter piece of crossbar. Now, most of my crossbars were longer than what I needed at the minimum. They were about 6 feet long. So I decided to order a separate pipe and drape kit that came with the shorter pieces so that I don't have as much to extend, therefore don't have to use as much fabric. So now I'm measuring my center point because this design has an open end. Just put that measuring tape in the middle so that I can use that to gauge where I'm opening up my drapes. Once I have that midpoint, then I can center my fabric right there and then start spreading them apart from there. So I'm just creating an even layer all across, then we'll start designing our drapes. One other thing I have to keep in mind is hiding all the metal posts or the uprights that you see. But once everything is spread apart, then we are going to start designing. Another difference here is normally when I create drapes, I spread everything apart and I make sure that's the inspo picture right there. Hopefully you can see that. But normally when I design them like this is our front. As I said, you see the 2 pieces of fabric right there. That's just to have something that shows below when we do our drape. But I'm also using this to cover my uprights from that side of the design. So now we are able to drape. I was saying normally when I design drapes and I have all my drapes on and they're all spread apart and separated how I want them to be, then I raise the backdrop to the desired height before I start designing. But in this case, we're going to have lots of safety pins that we use, but in this case, we are going to start designing as it's low because I won't be able to use a ladder to drape. It's going to be harder to go up and down a ladder just to drape or moving a ladder back and forth. So since we're just opening up our drapes here, I decided to do that first. Do what I can at this height, then raise up and continue to create our folds in the fabric. I'm using a 4-way stretch fabric here, which is the best, I think, to use for draping, especially when you want those seamless pleats in your fabric and you don't have to force pleats. So I'm pinning the fabric where I think would look nice and just kind of freestyling in a way, but also maintaining the design of having drapes open in the middle. So pinning where I can. You see where I pin at the middle section there right above my head. The pin kind of droops down because the fabric weighs quite a bit. So I have to repin that section in a way that you don't see the safety pins, but also you don't see that part drooping, because that is going to show on this end of the drapes. We have lots of people setting up this day at the bridal show, so you'll see people come through every now and then. We're early enough that we don't have as much yet, but people start coming through as we continue to design. So now I'm redoing my swoop here just to give it nice folds in the fabric. Once I'm satisfied with what I see, then I'm going to now tuck in the fabric towards the back and pin it from the back. If you let go, you have to redo everything with these drapes. Sometimes it's a pain. So I'm pinning it towards the back so that it holds everything in place and it doesn't pull on the fabric. So you see the difference now, how the fabric stays in place at the top there and it's not tugging on it. Now we can swoop our other end there to just complete the design. I'm going around that post, I think, and then I'm pinning that to the side. You'll see this design, I have to go back and forth. This took me so much time because obviously it's not an even design and you're trying to make some sections even, some sections just have somewhat of a design. With the bridal show, if you've been following my channel for some time, I do somewhat of a trade with the organizers where I design balloons at the entrance and I get my booth for free. So this was a different option this time. Instead of balloons, we are designing drapes, and it worked out fine because it gives me more experience with different drape designs, but also just something different for the entrance. They're planning to put black drapes on the sides there to hide those sides, but we're going to do our part and let them do that later on. So now I'm redoing my sides there so that it gives it more of the dimension. If the drapes are longer, they're definitely going to fall lower. Now I'm raising the backdrop a little bit so that I can get to where I can fix the bottom part of the drapes. You'll see me raising that up. Then we'll continue to design. You might have noticed it requires lots of pinning and tucking, but you can see where my fabric from the back is showing right there that I'm touching on both sides. That's why I put that fabric there, so that you still see like it's an entryway. It kind of looks like a tent, but I'm fixing the fabric on the bottom so it opens up sideways and no one trips on it. And I'll show you the back part or the front part so you can see what I'm talking about. So that's the fabric down there. I like this view because it looks like a waterfall. Now that I have all that pinned, I decided to raise it up as high as it'll get to that post where I can hide the crossbar that's on this side. Once it's raised, then I still have to cover these uprights over here where I can just pin them. And the next day, because I noticed when people were opening that door, the wind was just blowing. I don't want this to fall. My base plates are weighted, but I still came the next day with weights just to add that extra support to everything. Once we get all this, we have to fix covering up the base plates, covering up the uprights, covering up on the right and left. So I'm moving the fabric around just to cover everything up. Of course, this is what people will see as they come in. You can see what it looks like pinned from the back. You have to be mindful of how you put all your pins so that it's hiding all your mechanics and you don't see any of the safety pins as well. So you can see I really like the way that falls down on both sides and open. Some people, you can pick your side, but let me know in the comments which one you like. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for being here. This is a shorter video just to show you a quick new design. We create full videos of how we set up for various events and do balloons, full venue setups, some centerpieces, lots of decor items on this channel. So if this is your first time, please consider clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any videos when we post. Thank you so much for being here. Remain blessed and enjoy the rest of the video.